the first quarter.
Yeah. Well, if you look in the dictionary meaning for disappointing, it doesn't change a great deal. It's still disappointing. And that's it. You take the 43 points away from a 59-point loss and 16 points. Should we have been that close? Having said that, probably not. We didn't use the ball well. Again, they got the jump on us early, and we were chasing blue and white jumpers all night. So, that in the first quarter, our use of the ball, all pointed to not a great result, that's for sure.
It was surprising to see how much you lost by, given how much you won the stoppages.
As I said, something must have worked right, but that was our issue. 50 to 29 in clearances, and then when we got the ball, we, as I said, every second time, I think overall efficiency was 62% to 75 or 77. So almost 1 in 2 balls we're giving straight back to, probably not back to the Kangaroos, but certainly we weren't using it well. So you could have numbers like that, but again, if you don't use the ball well, it's back in your face. And as I said, we just need obviously some composure around the footy. We probably need another 3 Gary Abletts. His performance, from day dot, and he's been, hounded by the press, and he's not a leader, and all those sorts of things. But internally, we can't fault him. He's as I said, he's flying the flag, and as I said, if we keep turning the ball over like that, we'll send him into an early retirement, that's for sure. So, as I said, it's an area we have to get better on. We can talk about taking 30 minutes of, a first quarter away and saying we're respectable and all that sort of stuff, but as I said, even if you do that, I mean, to finish 10 goals down the way we played and all those sorts of things, it wasn't a good result or a good night.
Is it an actual concern, mainly with Gaz? I mean, he looks like he's probably sore every week. He's probably putting himself through a lot to get up for every match. Is it actually a concern how much damage it's doing to him, doing this every week?
Oh, look, he's a professional. He gets himself up. I have no doubt, would he be physically doing it tougher playing for us rather than his old mob? Of course he would. I mean, because he's got bigger bodies around him. We understand that. But as I said, it's waiting for those the younger boys to come up and shoulder the responsibility. And I think over the course of the year, and as I said, it was probably a nasty result, probably because we're in front of our home crowd, the stadium. As I said, we had a reasonable crack against Geelong, but fell away. And here's an opportunity against a side that obviously has lost some football. It wasn't playing the footy like Geelong, and the boys were certainly up for it, that's for sure. And then we get jumped in the first quarter. But it's about the ebbs and flows of those young boys. And as I said, they need to understand that that's what AFL footy's all about. And there can't be any birth certificates. There can't be any 9 games to 3 games and all that sort of stuff. The boys need to understand that week in, week out, contest by contest, they need to show up and play. And yes, we can't rely on Gary, each week.
Did you sense in the rooms at all, Guy, that the boys might get off to another sluggish start? Were they up and about? Or did the way the first term transpired surprise you, judging by their demeanour?
No, mate, look, Greg, if someone could walk into a change room and actually pick whether a group's on or off, they'd be an absolute multi-millionaire, I reckon, because even last week, boys were foaming at the mouth, and you think, geez, the boys are on, haven't had to say much, but they're real cranky, they're ready to go. Unfortunately, as we all do at each club, I don't get the opportunity to go around and have a look at West Coast last week and have a look at North Melbourne this week to find out whether they're more up than what we are. But as I said, no, the feeling in the room, I think, for most games has been good. I mean, I would have thought our first quarters in some cases have been okay. Although Essendon's still scarring a bit, and today's was nasty as well. West Coast was again, but there's been some patches against Adelaide, for example, where we've jumped out. Some of the other games early we've been okay, we're just the peaks and the troughs. Unfortunately, a bit too high early in the games, and we just got to narrow those peaks and troughs out.
Don't you need to maybe get some older players to help Gary out into the season, rather than wait for these kids to come through to take them?
Oh, no, look, it's probably when Gary wins it in the midfield and kicks it forward, and he's almost at the fall of the next ball. I mean, as far as our experience go, I think Jared Brennan, Michael Riscatelli, those Daniel Harris, Danny Stanley, we sort of call him experienced at 23 years of age. I think the majority of our experience is around the ball. It's just the fact that it goes into a forward line that's fairly limited as far as experience and size and all those sorts of things, and it bounces out too quick for almost Gary to see it. So it's that ball on the rebound that he gets caught out. But yeah, we can't manufacture that. We've got what we've got. And as I said, I don't think it's going to be too long before David Swallow can stand on his 2 feet and compete in the midfield. But we're certainly asking a lot of a young fella to do that, consistently like Gary and those sort of boys on a week-to-week basis.
Kay was really impressive down the Razzies today. Are you tempted to maybe throw him back in next week, or will you stick to 3-4 weeks down? Yeah,
we'll have a chat to him, have a chat to Sean and the other coaches down there. But yeah, he's very impressive. I think he would have been in our best 6 and got around the ball, probably 20 to 30 possessions from what I lost count after about 15, mind you. My maths is not flash, but yeah, he looked good using the footy, and that's what we sent him back for. I mean, he's a very quick learner, Kay. So yeah, we'll see how Hawthorn's forwards match up and see how Kay pulls up. And as I said, it would have been a bit of an experience for him playing through the midfield rather than back. So we'll just see how he pulls up.
You happy how he responded, though? I mean, I'm sure, as you said before in previous presses, he's a competitor. I'm sure in a way it would have hurt him to go back there and play park footy, which is obviously very different, isn't it, to playing at this level. Happy with how he responded to that challenge?
It didn't surprise me how he responded. The little I know of Kay and the bit I've got to know of him so far this season and last season, that's just what I expected. And I spoke to his father was there and his girlfriend Emma, and their first words were, he's just looking forward to it. He's excited about playing in the midfield, and probably the hardest thing for us now is to try and calm him down and say, mate, when you do come back and play for us, it mightn't be through the midfield, it might be down back again. But I almost expect that from Kay. That's the sort of professional he is.
Sometimes the North Melbourne players got free really easy. The accountability through the midfield. One that stood out was Swallow, obviously going off to Edwards, a couple of others. Is that experience, that tiredness, what you put that down to?
Yeah, we're just learning the system. Sometimes we play a system where we actually allow the opposition to free up, and that's trying to stem the flow of. And obviously we did that in the first quarter. Then there's other times, from a defensive mechanism where we try and push up like the modern sides do with the press. And what the press does is, when you do it well, like Collingwood that have been doing it for 3 or 4 seasons now, it's very hard to get through. But again, when and I was at Collingwood too, not so much when we were starting it, but you will get goals scored against you. But again, it's stopping the 5, and at the moment that's probably where we're at. We're not stopping the 5, we're stopping 1 and allowing 4 through. So when those 4 go through, they look really bad.
It's an education process.
Yeah, and as I said, Hawthorn were a part of that when Clarko started his cluster. And they looked not so flash at that early days as well. And as I said, he almost got the sack. Stayed through it. The boys clicked, and all of a sudden it looked really good. And so we got to wear a bit of that pain as well. But as I said, prefer to push the boys out that. And the more they do it, the sooner they'll understand it.
So you're a bit accepting of it when it does break down. It looks bad from up.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're accepting to a point, and we don't want it to continue, of course, and we need to make sure that the players individually show signs of improving that area, and then collectively we need to show areas that we're improving. And, as I said, after round 3, I think we're letting through 22 goals on average. As bad as that night was for us, as far as our disposals, and a lot of other things that went into that game, obviously almost 100 possessions behind them, we reduced North by 8, to 18 goals. So it was down again, as bad as it looked, but the score against was down marginally. We want that to improve, of course we do. We want to get that down to 12 and 14. We're a chance of winning a game of footy. Is that going to happen next week? We hope, but it could take 3 or 4 weeks. Who knows?
That's it. Thank you.